Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about colleges peddling worthless degrees. We're going to talk about this influencer studies degree that some universities are offering. And this is basically like gender studies, but for people that want to be YouTubers and TikTokers. And
I'm like, they're just like, what else can we get people to pay for? That's what this is about. Like, what can we get these dumb kids to pay for? That's what this is. Ivy Leagues are doing it now.
Yeah, so
Cornell
and Duke, and yeah, there's a lot of schools are offering this. They're trying to stay relevant, and this is right up there with the whole eSports degree thing. They're pushing this really hard. Now we're in Pennsylvania. Those of you who have listened to us for a while know we're in Pennsylvania, and they're pushing this really hard in the colleges.
They are
in schools, and I've actually gotten into. I'm not even kidding. I've gotten into arguments with people from academia over the validity of these degrees, because I'm like, as somebody who does this or does stuff adjacent to this for a living, it does not work the way you think it works. And in fact, we're on the other side of it.
But it's funny to me because we're going to look at it, and some of the people they're bringing up, that the ones that they're teaching these classes, or the people they're using as examples, don't even have that many followers themselves. No, so
let's talk about this. This is like look, I want to be very clear. We're not trying to crush anybody's dreams, but there are a lot of factors that go into this, and I can tell you, as someone who, again, as people have been doing this for a while, that the influencer bubble is bursting, and the esports train is already pulled out of the station, right? So there are people that can make livings at it, but it's not like a normal job. Like you go get a job at the esports company and you work there and you get a watch. It doesn't work that way. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to clownfish-.com, clownfish-.com. We have more content out there. Thank you very much for the support on that. You guys have been awesome.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah, this comes from the Hollywood Reporter. Geeky found it.
I was laughing. I'm like, are you serious right now? More of the money from parents to flush down the shitter.
Influencer studies break into the Ivy League. Universities like Cornell, Duke, Tulane, and USC now include classes and clubs on
clubs I can see.
Personal branding, acquiring followers, and other skills for aspiring influencers, giving new meaning to social studies. No life skills, though. Just get more followers.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. The creator economy is valued at an estimated $250 billion, and that figure is projected to double in the next few years.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not for influencers. I think for online video advertising. I'm going to tell you what, before we get into their article anymore, just anecdotally, a lot of people who have been doing the influencer thing for a long time have noped out in the last year or two. And I think part of it is they know it's not going to get better. I think between there being a lot more competition and lowering ad rates and the advent of AI, which is going to generate a lot of content on the fly, there's going to be less and less demand for individuals to produce content, right? Plus, I think a lot of brands got burnt by influencers. Dylan Mulvaney. I'm just saying. Yeah, they said more than half of Gen Z aspires to become influencers.
We told you the other day.
54% of Americans age 18 to 60 have stated they would quit their jobs if they could make a living as a full-time influencer.
Speaking of this, okay, so a couple of years ago, we were looking to buy a piece of furniture, and we were at the furniture store, and we were talking to the one lady that worked there. And then in the discussion, it turned out that the one guy who worked there, I think she was filling in for them or whatever, quit because he was going to go be an influencer, a video gaming influencer.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, oh, okay, so how many subs did he have? Oh, no, he hasn't started yet.
Oh, my God.
But he's going to go make a living at it. We're just like, oh. And she goes, we told him it was a bad idea. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. You need to make sure you have a sizable, unless like you're like us, where literally we had to, because it was another instance of somebody screwed us over, and that was, if we didn't have this, we'd have nothing. You don't want to do that.
Yeah,
you don't want to quit until you know you can do it, and even then, it's you never know how long it's going to last.
Yeah, it's just like any other creative field, right? I mean, there's usually an ebb and flow to these things, and a lot of it is I hate to be that guy, but a lot of it's luck. In our case, we already had our channel kind of built, but we just kind of played around with it, and we didn't go all in until we till we had to, because we had our one website kind of yanked from us, and but it turned out that was actually the best thing that could happen, because we really weren't giving it our full attention. But the thing is that the weird thing about YouTube and TikTok and any of these platforms is it doesn't matter how much you throw at it. A lot of times it is kind of luck of the draw, right? And everybody talks about, the genius of Mr. Beast. I'm like, Mr. Beast actually got lucky, and he had people behind him that bankrolled a lot of his harebrained ideas that were so outrageous that people tuned in just to see how. And that's a one-off. That's never going to happen again. And now that everything is like imploding with him, I don't think anybody's going to be stupid enough to give some kid a bunch of money.
He was giving lectures about his business empire at Harvard.
Of course.
And Penn State, come on. But they're doing stuff too now.
Oh, God.
Clubs and courses and entire degree programs to the art of business of content creation.
This is a case of, you can talk about it. So our son's in school right now, and he shares his lessons with us sometimes, and we look at each other and kind of face palm, because I'm like,
he's going for business.
This is not what you're going to be doing in the real world, right?
Well, that was the one. He's like, we had to listen to a textbook written by somebody that, one, is way old, and two, it's about how to crowdfund your business. And I'm like, oh. No. Unless you have a studio, unless you have a platform, or you have a really, really amazing idea and you have the money to get prototypes and everything for it. No. No. And he's telling me this stuff, and thank God he knows what's bull and what's not, because that's why he tells us, because he knows we'll find it funny. But there's a lot of kids in this class that are paying for these classes that are really listening to this and taking it to heart, and not understanding that it isn't as easy or as viable now as they're saying it is.
Yeah, it's actually
kind of sad.
It is. It's actually getting worse now. A lot of influencers are kind of hanging on by their fingertips right now.
I'm not trying to say you shouldn't do it if you really want to do
it.
I'm just saying be smart about how you do it.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, we're going to run into the same situation with these kids that we're running into with people that go to school for art or animation or whatever, where they go get this degree and they think that the degree is going to create the opportunity for them. And that's not always the case. It's good to be prepared if an opportunity arises and you can network and all that. But the reality is a lot of it still comes down to luck. There are far fewer jobs than there are people that want those jobs. And there's going to be a shakeout. And I just think it's really dumb to be like, oh, you're going to go to school, get your YouTube degree, and then you're going to go be a YouTuber full time. I'm like, yeah, if the audience likes you, I guess, and the algorithm likes you, I guess. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know, starting a YouTube channel from scratch now, if we could do it.
Well, the same with webcomics. If you do it now, it would be so much harder than it was then, because there wasn't as many people doing it. But now, the same thing with these influencer accounts or anything else. There's just so many people. Unless you have a completely unique angle that there's demand for, it's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's not as easy as they're spinning it out. But let's look at what these colleges are offering. Cornell is what are they offering? They're going to offer. Are they doing Content Creators Scholars Network? Teacher of Cornell's platforms, Power and Precarity in the Creator Economy Seminar. And Communication Graduate Program. Oh, in the Communication Graduate Program. So they're making it part of their communications department. This Washington State Edward Monroe College Communication is doing one. Personal branding for athletes, influencers. Okay, now that I get. Personal branding for athletes and creators. I get that one because it's tied to marketing.
Right.
And I do think anybody who wants to do, something that's you're your own brand, or you're in charge of your own thing, you really, or art or whatever, you really should have business classes and some marketing classes. And I think that actually is that one is fair. It's 6 week summer version, and there's a class, but it teaches you marketing techniques. That one I don't hate. That one I think is a good idea.
Yeah, shut up, stay off Twitter, or if you're gonna tweet, make sure it's if you're a huge celebrity and kids are looking up to you and all, and I'm not talking like an edgy podcaster, right? I'm talking you're getting, you're on the box of Wheaties and all that, if that means anything anymore. Yeah, you need to shut up about the politics. You need to shut up about your sex life. You need to shut up. You need to stop attacking people online. It's not a good look. That one's free.
Yeah. They're talking about subsections assignments across the board for communication majors. Okay, they're tying into assignments. Okay, as long as they're like charging for classes. Mississippi State during this fall, it's an online course on how to build a large social following, taught by TV meteorologist Nick Kosier.
The
dancing weatherman guy. Yes.
Oh, the dancing weather. I was like, what's a weatherman have to do?
Okay, now him I get.
Okay, 14 million followers.
Penn State. I love this one. The Reach Club. Okay, at least it's a club. It's a school hosts a social media content creator summit camp for high schoolers and a creator accelerator digital test lab. It's a 1-credit online course taught by Bill Zimmerman. Now I looked up Bill Zimmerman. Bill Zimmerman has like 1.2 thousand. Not a million, 1,000 followers on X. And two of the people that were bragging about being in his book have 100K followers on YouTube. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get that huge creators are too busy being huge creators but it just, I feel like, I'm really torn on this because I'm like, on one level, it's like we don't have, any schools teaching you how to do this stuff. But I'm also like, you can't really teach it, right?
Well, so you should start teaching it. Okay,
everybody's gonna do the same thing.
Okay, it's like art. I'm gonna tell you this. It's like art school. You go to art school, and then to get your degree and whatever. And unless you're going to be a teacher in art, you don't need to be in art school. You can learn exact same things yourself on your own time. It just takes you longer. But what they do is you come in, and basically it's by professor and what they like and the style they like. So you have to be what they want you to be. They basically mold you into themselves, and any uniqueness you had that could have set you apart gets washed away. Unless you have a really good teacher who appreciates everybody's being unique. And that's what they're doing. It's like they're doing paint by numbers to teach people how to do this. And one size does not fit all. And that's the problem.
Yeah, and so many things in life.
The one they're bragging about on here, that Shade TV, that Marissa whatever, 105 subs. 105,000.
Oh, I was gonna say 105. I'm like, you too can.
I'm just like, wow, hot damn.
It's so weird. I mean, we're over. I think we're over 500.
We're still tiny.
We're tiny. I don't think they realize in the YouTube space, unless you have multiple millions. I'm not even talking 1 or 2 million. I'm talking you're not even a big deal until you've hit 10 million subs on YouTube. Yeah. So, look, don't go out and harass these people or whatever. I'm just like,
oh, I'm not saying that at all.
I just it's so weird. I guess it's just weird to me to see this. It was kind of the same way, when I was a teenager and I wanted to draw comic books, and there was you couldn't really go to school for it unless you went to the Joe Kubert school, right? You get a general arts degree or whatever. But the vast majority of people who worked in the comic book industry had no formal training because it's such a weird thing. And I think it's even more so in the YouTube or podcasting space or whatever. You can get a good technical explanation, but things change so fast too, right? What you're being taught in school now and 5 years from now is going to be completely obsolete. And it's like graphic design. People went to school for graphic design. They learned to use a bunch of software that's probably not even being used anymore. And they were told, hey, you're going to have a job forever. Then along comes AI. Along comes Fiverr with overseas talent that work significantly cheaper than you can afford to work for.
So next one, Salem State University. Now, okay, here's an elective for media and communications majors run by Rebecca Haynes, a micro-influencer. What the hell's a micro? We come in different sides. Micro, what's that mean? Micro-influencer.
That means probably just a couple thousand.
Micro. But they're making it as elective. Social media marketing campaigns course at Southern New Hampshire University. I had students who were well-established influencers. Well, that's good, though. Okay, I will say this. That's another class where I think would be helpful. They're teaching you how to target for social media marketing. That is a helpful class. That, like the one about your own personal brand and how to manage your own brand, those are helpful. And so I can see influencers taking this class. That makes sense to me.
I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to map this out, right? I'm like, if more than half of young people want to be full-time influencers, who's going to watch their content? Because half of the population is making stuff. Is it the other half's job to watch the stuff? Do they watch each other? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
This is like web comics. We ran into this too, where, 10, 12 years ago, like it turned out that the vast majority of people that were reading web comics were people that were making their own web comics. And it was just one giant circle jerk.
Here's another class where you're given key concepts in audience analysis and social media listening. Then Tulane University has professional advancement media and design degree, offering online courses in strategy, storytelling, and utilizing a studio.
Well, that's
some of these I think are worth it. Other ones I'm just like, what? Sorority recruitment process have gone viral on TikTok. Oh, for fuck's sake!
This is basically they're trying to retain kids because like kids are like they don't want to go to school for traditional jobs. Nobody wants to work a traditional job anymore. So
reminds me of, for the most part. Now, some of these classes, don't get me wrong, I do think some of these actually, they're a one class thing. They are actually things I would recommend and are helpful. But this reminds me of those self-help gurus. They go around and they're selling you the dream.
Yeah.
Buy my book.
Yep.
That's exactly what this is.
That's exactly it.
And that's what this is. Now, are you going to be able to do what they say that you can do and be like them? Hell no, probably not. But buy their book. And that's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're all like, they're talking about it on the New York Post too.
They're giving bachelor's of arts degrees. Oh my God.
This is so bad.
Classes, I think.
Classes, okay. Yeah.
On marketing and individual things like, how to use social media or how to do targeted advertisements or something like that. Totally think that's a good idea. But some of these other things, I'm just like, what?
You might get lucky, but you won't understand why you're going viral, which can make virality difficult to replicate. Mm-hmm. Right? Well, if it was so easily replicated, then everybody would be going viral all the time.
Exactly.
You'd be bigger than Mr. Beast. If you knew how he did it, you'd be bigger than he is, right? Everybody'd be bigger than him. And
a lot of the influencer space is like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. But on there, it's more like brand deals and crap. You don't get paid like you do on places like YouTube. Okay,
this though is changing. This is another okay. It said in recent years, there's been increased demand from employers for content creation and social media savvy from Gen Z. No, I think it's actually I'm going to tell you the truth. I think it's actually going the other way because a lot of these people, they were given chances. They hired, and this is why I think they hired them. They're like, oh, they know more about TikTok or they know more about Instagram or whatever. We're going to hire this, 22-year-old to run our social media. And then they shoot their damn mouths off. They say stupid shit on social media. They start getting political. They start being sassy with the customers. I'm using air quotes for sassy. They start being sassy with the customers. They chase off business. They actually cost the company, in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, this quote, so it's absolutely critical, particularly for entrepreneurs, but big companies are using it more and more. Okay, I do think that knowing how to use like TikTok and Instagram and stuff, if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to sell your product, is smart. Do I think you need Gen Zs to do it for you? No. And I think that the reason why companies aren't hiring them now, and then sadly, like I said, there's a lot of Gen Zs that do not apply to that are really great, and that they have their head on their shoulders, and they're not full of shit. But there's a bunch that are like, I'm the chief vibe officer. I can't do my job, but I bring good vibes. And that's why they're turning against everybody, because those people are the ones everybody's comparing it to.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just thought this whole thing was funny.
Again, this goes along with the eSports degrees, and we're seeing them, especially in Pennsylvania.
All the schools are like, we're going to have an eSports team. It's like,
okay, good, but yeah, and I've actually, like I said, gotten into arguments with people over the viability of a professional esports career for most people. I'm not saying everybody. I mean, if you're freakishly good at a game and you get on a team, that's fantastic. But I know a lot of companies are pulling back on the spending. I know that they're not sponsoring esports like they were. And statistically, it's like joining the Olympics, right? It's like you can do gymnastics every day after school, but it doesn't mean you're going to be an Olympic athlete. And you need to be real with people up front. It's not saying you can't be.
No.
But like statistically, there's like a less than a 1% chance that all these kids that get into this are actually going to, do it.
I mean, the thing is, what's hard is, that's the thing is, what's hard is you have kids that there's no way in hell. And then but they just want the money at these schools or whatever,
Yes.
and then it's just like giving false hope, and I just think that's crap. But I mean, I guess you just learn the hard way. I mean, it is it's just like any other sports. Like you start out like, you have like football, you have your little elementary little groups that play, and then you go up to your high school football, and then you go to college, and then so on and so on. It's like that. There are only so many of them actually make it to the pro leagues and stuff. It's not saying it's impossible, but it's not likely. And I think these schools are chasing it, thinking it's going to, they think they're going to get grant money and all this stuff.
That's what it's about. It's about grant money. It's about tuition. They're like, oh, well, what are all the, hey there, fellow kids, what are you into? Oh, well, we got a degree for that. You want to be a TikToker? Yeah, okay. We'll give you a degree in TikTok. Give us, 200,000.
We'll have a teacher who has 500 followers teach you how to do it.
We'll give you a TikTok.
They're a micro influencer.
Yeah, it's like,
oh my God.
I really, somebody needs to take the kids that actually have potential in any space like this. Somebody needs to take them inside, pull them aside and be like, look, here is the truth, the brutally honest truth. Do you or do you not actually want to do this? Because you're going to have to do X, Y, Z thing, and it's not as glamorous as you think it's going to be.
You don't even get into the hours of work.
No.
And it takes forever to get very far.
And the shit you have to deal with from people on an almost daily basis.
Unless you have funding and support by somebody who's already established, it's not as easy as it looks.
Nope.
I'm not saying that everybody would fail. I'm just saying I don't think it's right to be charging for a class on it. But some of the classes that are marketing based, I think, are worth your time.
So we're going to wrap that up?
Yes.
I think we're going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Join the reef. Go to clownfishminus.com. That's clownfishminus.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfishminus.com. Thank you so much for the support.